Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is Savory Sewing. You can also find me on Instagram at Savory Sewing. A Flosstube channel is a YouTube channel where folks talk about cross stitch, what they're stitching, what they're planning to stitch, what they're buying to stitch, all of those things. So if that sounds good to you, hope you stick around. Today it's Saturday, October 5th. This is hopefully loading on Sunday, October 6th, 2024. This is Flosstube number 33, I think. I don't know why I count. Why do we count these things, folks? Does it matter? No. But 33. I think it's 33. I've also gotten out my festive Halloween jack-o'-lantern wine glasses. This is not wine. This is soda water. Because, you know, it's October. Everything should have a pumpkin on it or a witch. Right? That's the way this works. All right, so it is October. It is Flosstube number 33. Let's talk about some stitching. I think it's been, well, it's transitioned from September to October since I last filmed. So let's talk about September, wrapping up of the things. I stitched on, there should be an infographic here because I make these and so I'm going to use them. I stitched on 23 days out of the 30 days of September, which honestly is, it's unusual that I stitched that few days in the month. September, oh, I got sick. That's what happened. I got sick. And so there were 2 days where I just laid in bed and did absolutely nothing. You can tell if you watched my last video, my voice is back to normal. The head cold is gone, thank goodness. That was not my favorite. But anyway, so I stitched 23 days. I worked on 18 different projects. I had 6 new starts and I had 3 fully finished objects and 3 finishes. And some of those I will show you actually right now because that's the first thing we talk about in Flosstube is what did we fully finish? Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's fun things. So this might be one of my favorite things that I've ever stitched. It was almost a UFO, and then I made it work. But here is my fall of the Patriarchy. Isn't it so funny and amazing? I think I posted a picture on Instagram, but I hadn't added this ridiculous little bow. But now it's perfect, and I've hung it on the door of my partner's office, which he took as a threat. Not a real threat, but you know, he's like, someone trying to tell me something? My girlfriend just put this on my door. It says, my favorite season is the fall of the Patriarchy. What is this all about? Anyway, this is, and I'll put a picture in here of the full patterns, a mashup of a pattern from Cotton and Twine, which is a company in the UK. They also are called Historical Sampler Co. and they do stitch boxes. And this is one that I got in, I think, in like 2021. And you can see like there's a whole pattern. You're supposed to repeat this on the bottom. And then there's a different phrase in the middle. I did not want to write autumn falls. And I also was kind of done stitching it. So you can see I just stitched the top and then I bought a pattern on Etsy from, I think they're called Aliton Embroidery. So I could, didn't have to chart the words myself. And then this is one of those rubber hoops that's like fake wood. And I put some fabric on the bottom and this nice little piece of ribbon. And then there's felt on the back. And it's this adorable little hanging. I think it's hilarious. I love that it's very traditional and then kind of like, you know, this is a finish with the lace, you know, very, you know, 90s probably, but then it says my favorite season is the fall of Patriarchy. Like everything about this. I'll move the ribbon so you can really enjoy those darling little squirrels and pumpkins, no pumpkins, excuse me, mushrooms, acorns, owls. Anyway, this turned out better than I could have imagined. So cute. All right, so that was my first big FFO in September, or at least since I last filmed. I'm going to tuck it down here. The other thing that I finished, fully finished, I think these had already been finished in my last video, but I don't recall now. These are a shepherd's bush pattern. No, they weren't finished. This is a shepherd's bush pattern called Scary. A lot of folks stitch these on those mesh bags that you can get from a lot of cross-stitch shops. And then when I was at Shepherd's Bush, they were selling a little like finishing pack to make a little pillow and a scissor fob. And that's what I did. So here's my little pillow. This is with all the kit supplies except in terms of fabric and floss, and then the backing fabric, which is this orange print. They provided like this really pretty ribbon. Actually, where did I don't know where I shoved it. To do like this cool ribbon finish with beads. Mine looked terrible. So I had some of this pom-pom trim from Lady Dot Creates, and so I stitched that on there instead because my ribbon looked so bad. I tried and I could not make it look good, so I quit. But look how cute my little pillow is. It's stuffed with walnut shells, and then there's a piece of felt on the back to cover my hole. I don't like to slip stitch, so this covering up your hole, the hole for stuffing with the felt thing works a lot better for me. And then there's also a little scissor fob pattern. I have not finished it, but it's almost done. I just need to fill it and stitch it shut and then put it on some ribbon or something so that it can actually get attached to a pair of scissors. But it's just this tiny, I mean, look how tiny it is. It's probably, is it 2 inches tall by 1.5 inches? That's why I'm holding it up with this little clip. It's a tiny little guy, but it's super cute. So it'll get finished, but I'm counting that as a fully finished. Just so much little effort left, so it's a fully finish. So excited to have those done. I pulled a couple previous finishes and fully finishes. I was watching Cross Stitch the Globe, and they just released 2 videos of free Halloween patterns and one of free autumn or fall patterns. And so I've stitched a couple of them. And I posted one on my Instagram yesterday and figured I would, since I had it out, I would show you all on my Flosstube today. This is Little Quaker Halloween by Susan Aki. This is available on the Aurifil or Floss website. Susan Aki is best known, I think, as a quilt designer. I think she designs fabric as well. And she has a series of free cross-stitch patterns using Aurifloss. And this is not stitched in Aurifloss. The called for art, it's not even called for art in purple. So I just pulled DMC, and this is 14 count Ada. It's Provence Dyed Effect by Fabric Flare, and a random selection of DMCs that looked pretty and made sense. And then I finished it as a flat fold. It's got a command strip on here because in the off season it hangs on the wall. But this is my very first flat fold finish. I'm sure I used either Lindy or Vonna Pfeiffer's tutorial. I can't remember. And then it's got this trim around it. But I really love this. I love the colors of it. And it's free. This is also, like, you can see this is big. Like, this is my hand. You know, this is on 14 count, so, you know, that changes things too. But for a free pattern, I mean, if you want to stitch a Halloween Quaker, and I love a Halloween Quaker. Most of them are gigantic. I mean, if you look at the Leela Studios one, or I'm stitching 2 different ones, one from Luminous Fiber Arts, Enchanted Quaker, or Silhouette's Quaker from Teresa Kogut, like, usually they're huge. This is pretty small and free and adorable, I think. So, highly recommend. I also have another freebie from Halloween that I don't think was in the Cross Stitch the Globe video. But this is from Puntini, and this is a little freebie from 2021. If you go on her Instagram, she's got a saved, what is it called? Are they highlights? Oh my goodness, I should know this. Where she's got freebies, and this little guy was one of them. This is, I know, stitched with DMC, I think it's charted in DMC. I'm pretty sure this is stitched in DMC on Vintage Country Mocha. It's also available, and there's a freebie section on the Puntini website. But I made it little pillow. I stitched one of the little pumpkins in 2021, put it on the back. This is the same trim actually as this. But this is another little Halloween freebie. And then I realized I've not stitched any of the other ones that uh, uh, that they listed on their video. I think there were like 40 from their fall themed freebie video. I've stitched one. This is Whoo, if you will, from Prairie Schooler. This is on the Prairie Schooler website on Freebie Owl. Um, and I don't know, stitched on some pretty orange fabric with probably 3391 is my guess, because it's that dark brown. But very cute little owl. You can see it's cut out very poorly, but it's going to get finished this year. It's on my fully finished pile for this year, but I know I stitched this like 2 or 3 years ago, and he's just been languishing while I decide what to do with him. But anyway, these were all free, so go get yourself some cute free patterns. Stitch all the Halloween and fall things. All right, so those are previous finishes. I've got one more finish from the last couple weeks, and then a giant pile of whips and some new starts. This is the pattern from Acorn Gathering 2024. So this year's Acorn Gathering, which is a mini retreat hosted by Acorns and Threads. The featured designer this year, which is always a surprise, was Fox and Rabbit, and this is the big pattern that was part of the retreat. Interestingly, they just released in their Patreon a Halloween pattern that looks very similar to this. It's like I saw a bunch of folks sharing it. I was like, I've seen that before. Where have I seen that? And I have a very similar. This is very similar. So anyway, regardless, I did not stitch the entire thing. This is what I stitched. I stitched basically the top center. I moved the little squirrel up, and then I used the words and wrote Acorn Gathering. I should probably add the year, but I don't know if I will, but I'm calling this finish. I'm going to turn it into a nice little pillow, or possibly a nice like pencil pouch sort of shaped pouch, because I feel like it would make a really cute little bag to put stitching stuff in. And I'm very happy with it. This is Classic Colorworks. The blue is DMC, which was included with the kit, and then this is Fox and Rabbit Hog Bristle Linen. Super cute. So lots of very fall themed Flosstube today. I'm not sure I have anything that I wouldn't classify as fall or Halloween in my stitching pile. Let's talk about my giant whip pile. Actually, my whip pile is not very big. So a couple weekends ago, well, last weekend, we actually went to the coast. My partner plays in a poker tournament every year, and which means I get to go sit in a house basically by the beach and cross stitch to my heart's content, because I don't really like casinos. They're fine for about 20 minutes and then I'm done. But generally, poker tournaments tend to be at casinos if you live in Oregon anyway. We have quite a few, I don't know, do we have 6 or 7 casinos? That seems like a lot, because I know in some places there aren't any. But anyway, so we went to the beach, and maybe I'll put some nice beach photos in. My dog loves the beach. He's not a good enough boy yet to be allowed to have free rein running on the beach, so he goes on his long lead and frolics, and just, I don't think that little boy is happier than when he is running down the beach. He's just like frolic, and then he looks back at us with that big puppy smile, and like your heart melts, and it's like, why don't we live at the beach? Why aren't we here all the time? Anyway, hopefully there were some beach photos and you enjoyed that rambling. So anyway, I got to stitch. I got a lot of things done. You've seen some of them already, but let's talk about whips. Okay, so WIPGO for September. I did complete, well, almost. So finishing Fall of the Patriarchy was one of my WIPGO goals, which check that one off the list. The second call for September was 3 days on Autumn Flowers by Owl Forest Embroidery. I'll pop the photo in here. I only got 2 days on this, but that's okay. It's going to get called again because it's on my WIPGO board one more time. So it'll get at least 3 more days. It did not get called for October, which means it'll get called in November or December. So I'll just add an extra day on then. Or it will get a day. If it doesn't get called in November, it will get a day in November, because I plan on stitching on fall things again in November. So this is where I am. I got what did I get done? I worked more, or added this flower. So there's nothing more than what I'm showing you on this quarter fabric. And so for just ease of seeing things and not just seeing a giant, basically purple sheet with nothing on it, I'm just going to leave it like this. I worked on the borders, and then I added some more flowers in here. Like this is new. This is new. I don't think this is new, but I'm stitching this on 16 count Ada from Mystic Fabrics in the colorway Please Scream Inside Your Heart. And then I'm using the Owl Forest flosses that were dyed that you could get from Owl Forest Embroidery. So I started this in like 2021. So I got these flosses a long time ago. I know it's sometimes difficult and shipping is very expensive to get the dyed flosses now, but they are beautiful. So this is about quarter of the pattern. So this is the center, top, and this is the center down the side. So I am not even a quarter of the way done, but that's okay. It's pretty. All right, next I worked on the Plants and Petrichor stitch along from Fine Frog Stitching. I am behind on this, which is not a surprise to me, but I didn't even get like the first part, the frames done. So hopefully I put a picture in here. I don't know if there is a full picture available of all the released parts so far. I think I remember she's just showing photos of each release, but if I can find one, I'll put a better photo in here. Otherwise, Instagram is a great place to see folks who are actually caught up on this. Hashtag Plants and Petrichor Stitch Along SAL. So this is where I am. You can see I've got the window done, and what I worked on is adding more of this green. This whole window is full coverage, and so you can see there's a long ways to go. And I know there's a bunch of doodads on some of these shelves that are already released. I'm stitching this on Night Sky from Picture This Plus. It's I think it's 32 count, 2/2 with the called for DMC. I think it is beautiful. I just need to work on it. I think I might make this my rainy day project. You know, if there are some folks who live in like snowy areas who have like snow day projects that they stitch on when it snows. If I did that in Oregon, I'd probably stitch on something twice a year, but we do tend to get a lot of rain. So I'm considering saying I'm going to put a length of floss in this every day it rains and until it gets done, because I think that is a reasonable goal. And it rained today, so that probably means if I'm serious about this, I should get it out later and put some floss into it, but we'll see. All right, next I worked on Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. I think I worked on this on October 1st because I wanted to pull out one of my Halloween pieces to stitch on, and this one happened to be sitting on the table in front of me, so it was an easy piece to work on. I started this with Jen from Jen's Fiber Web on Friday the 13th, I think in March. I think we started this in March. And this is where I am. I was able to I finished the words and finished, I think I put in like 2 or 3 more of these little leaves and then moved, or the leafy flowery things in the border, and I moved this up. And so this is roughly as wide as my hand. This is as wide as the piece is. And so I'm just going to work my way up. This is Vintage Country Mocha. I think it's 36 count, 1/2. And here are the flosses, which are some of the called for, and then some things from Stash that matched. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. Very much in the spirit of the called for. So pretty. I really like. I actually don't hate this border as much as I thought I would. I'm really not a fan of repetitive borders, but I'm not hating it. But I'm also one of those people who, when they have to stitch a repetitive border, has to like carrot and stick myself. It's like, you know, like you get to go stitch one thread of something fun, and then go put in a thread in the border, and then back and forth. Those folks who can stitch an entire border first and then do the middle, I don't know how you do it, quite frankly. One, I need to stitch everything at once because I like to see it come together, and then also I use it to check myself so I don't miscount. So you folks who stitch a whole border first, like, I think you're very brave. But anyway, there is that. Then I also pulled out, I only have one more whip, and then the rest is new starts. And then haul. I bought some floss, folks. I bought some floss. All right. I pulled out Autumn Cloche by Hello from Liz Mathews. I started this for Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe's birthday, which was in July. She had asked that folks stitch something by Hello from Liz Mathews, and I had this kitted up, and I've been wanting to start it for forever. And so I started it on or around her birthday. I can't remember if I actually managed to get it done on the day. But here is where I am. Again, this is on a giant piece of fabric because it is a huge pattern. So I've got it neatly folded, sort of, so you can just see what I've stitched on because, again, blanket fabric. I started in the middle, and I have these flowers stitched, and that is it. This is Picture This plus Bramble. I think it's 40 count. Yeah. It's either 40 count or 36 count. I don't remember. And I'm stitching it 1/2. I think it's pretty good color. I think it's, I don't remember what the called for was. I feel like it was a light gray, but I had this in my stash. And then here are the flosses. It is, I don't remember what this is charted in. Is it charted in DMC or NPI Silks? I'm stitching it in a mix of overdyes from Stash. So we've got some Classic Colorworks, we've got some Pirate and Robin, we've got some Roxy Floss, we've got some Forbidden Fiber Co. So a mix of things. And I really am still considering, I've mentioned this before, changing those pink pumpkins to purple. And so I have some purples in here that are potentials. I'll probably wait until I get more of it stitched before I start worrying about that. I've got a ways to go before I need to worry about floss conversions. Or I just will find pinks. I don't know. We'll see. It's not today's decision because this probably isn't getting finished for a few years. So, but that's Autumn Cloche by Hello from Liz Mathews. All right. So those are all of the whips that I worked on in the last couple weeks. Now I've got some new starts. And let me grab them. I've got 3 new starts. So every month this year, I had planned out 2 new starts. I planned these at the beginning of the year as part of 24 new starts in 2024. And my September new starts, this is the first one. This is Autumn Night Garden by Tiny Modernist. This is a Patreon pattern that was available, I feel like it's from last fall sometime. I think if you join her Patreon now, she now has a Patreon shop. I believe you can purchase this pattern. But I only have the, you're seeing it right now, the mock-up of it, not a stitched version. But this is where I am. I started in the middle and I've got that butterfly stitched. I'm stitching this with it's mostly the called for DMC. I have subbed a couple overdyes where I didn't have the right DMC. I can't believe I'm still missing DMC colors after all these years, but I don't have them all. And I'm stitching this. This is, I think it was charted on like a dark blue or like navy. I'm stitching it on this beautiful dark purple. This was from a BeStitchme grab bag. I don't know what it's called. I call it dark purple. And I don't even know if it's 32 or 28 count linen. I'm not completely certain. I know this will fit on it if it is either. So that was the important bit. I think it looks really nice. It's sparkling because the bag behind it is sparkly, not because the fabric is sparkly. But I'm really liking it so far. So that was start number 1. And then I also started this. This is my very last Bird Crush Club bird by Lindy Stitches. So this was where's Elizabeth? A club that you could join, I think 2 years ago, where you got a bird pattern and a floss and stickers every month, and a little card that told you a little bit about the bird. And I've stitched 11 of the 12, and this is my last Bird Crush Club bird. And I got a lot done. I forgot how fast these are. This is 2 days of stitching. Keep in mind, this is 2 days of beach stitching. So I had, you know, an audiobook and no responsibility, so I got a lot done, but this is almost done. This is all the called for, DMC, and then 1 Threadworks. So they all came with the Threadworks, and this one is called Mellow Yellow. Let me grab it. Sorry for the crinkly, but it's all in the bag. This is the Threadworks, which is this really pretty yellow, white, variegated. It's very bright. And then it's Vintage Country Mocha, which for this bird was actually the called for fabric. I'm stitching all of mine on like a 16 count or 32 count, so they're all the same size. And all I have left is the words. So it's going to say Goldfinch, and then there's like a yellow sunflower here, and then there's a yellow flower or something here, and then I need to backstitch the bird's face. And that's all I've got left. So I think this will definitely get done this year. Probably not pulling him back out till November, just because I want to stitch on Halloween for the rest of the month, but I think a day or 2 and he'll be done. And then they'll be all done. Yay! Very exciting. Very, very excited about that. All right. And then I have one more new start, which was a complete impulse new start, not planned, but I got some haul and I could not use this floss. I'm trying to remember why I impulse bought floss one day. Because this wasn't the so this is the floss. This is Gothic Raspberry from Pirate and Robin. I think I saw this on Thread Gremlins. One of you stitched got the morbs with this. I'm talking to you like you're gonna talk back. I will find the photo I'm thinking of. And also it's purple and pink and black. So what's not to love? Anyway, I bought something else, which I'll show you in haul. And this, of course, jumped into the cart. This is my new start. This pattern is from a cross-stitch designer called Broomsticks and Bobbins. I have had this PDF in my stash for I don't even know how long. I think they're on Etsy. I know I follow them on Instagram. This pattern is called Make Your Own Magic. And when this came home, I opened it up. I was like, I need to start something immediately. What do I have that's monochromatic and witchy? This fit the bill. So this is where I am. Look how beautiful that is. 1, the pattern is great. 2, the floss is gorgeous. This is Cobblestone by Forbidden Fiber Co. linen. And I think it's 36 count. Yeah, it's 36 count. Doesn't it look great? I've been stitching on this for the last couple days and I don't really want to stitch on anything else. So pretty. That's my last new start. And with that, we'll transition into haul because the rest of my haul is spoilers. Floss from Pirate and Robin. I bought another black that I didn't have of hers. This is called Night. It's like a black-gray variegated. I think I have 3 or 4 others that I've been using on various things. And so, of course, I needed another one. And then the thing that I had bought, and I think it must have been on her Instagram, the lady who dyes Pirate and Robin, whose name I should probably know, but I don't. she did a color conversion for this pattern. This is Yule Goddess by Tiny Modernist, which I have. I bought this because Allison from Cross Stitch the Globe was stitching this, and it's beautiful, and I impulse bought it, and then I bought the floss. So here's the floss conversion from Pirate and Robin, and so this is the card that came with it that has all the colors, and then here's all the flosses, which, how pretty are they? I mean, this red is like electric, and this green is absolutely beautiful. So I will be starting this. I also really like this color. What color is this? This is mint. Definitely looks minty. So I don't want to say I'm definitely going to start this Christmas, but I have the fabric, or I have the pattern, I have the floss. I think I have the right fabric in my stash. So pretty. I also got floss from Dying for Sass for my Patreon subscription. What is this called? This is called Plums. It's a really pretty variegated, really nice fall sort of situation here as well. I'm going to take this off the card because I think you can see it better. Maybe not, but nice purples and yellows, some oranges. And I think there's a touch of, I see a touch of green in there. Oh, I think that's just where the yellow and the purple are hitting each other. Super pretty. I really like the flosses that I've gotten from this Patreon so far. I really need to figure out what I'm going to stitch with them, because otherwise they just, I mean, it's okay. I'm cool with just having pretty floss hanging on my wall and just, you know, staring at it and having it make me happy. But I should stitch with it too. But we'll find it. We'll figure something out. All right. And then I got fabric from BeStitchme from Fabric of the Month Club. So this is, I'm in the neutral club and I get 40 count, and this is the September fabric of the month. It's called Frost. Super pretty. I think I now have enough 40 count neutral linen to last me for a minute. So I think I'm gonna ride this out for the rest of the year and then cancel my fabric subscription, because I have plenty. And I should probably stitch with some for maybe a year and then get back in. We'll see. It is nice to get pretty things in the mail every month. All right. So that was all my stitching and all my haul. Looking around at the piles to make sure I didn't miss anything. Plans. What are my plans for the rest of the month? So it's October, so I am going to stitch on every single one of my Halloween whips at least one day. If I remember, I put a picture in here of all of my Halloween whips. I have 14, not counting Make Your Own Magic, which I just started, which I think counts as a Halloween whip. And then I'm not counting Autumn Night Garden as a Halloween piece. That is a fall piece, so that doesn't count in October. So I've got 15 Halloween whips right at this moment. So every one of them will get at least one day. I don't think any of them are in places in which they could get finished, which is unfortunate. Maybe one or two of them. So we'll see. I will probably start some random small Halloween things because I know I'm going to get influenced. And given that none of my whips are finishable, I'm going to want some finishes. I do have a lot of actually already finished things that I need to fully finish. So I'm going to try to make it a goal to fully finish a few things this month, because things are just languishing in the box. You know, you've got the box too. That also reminds me, last year I filmed a finish parade of all of my Halloween finishes. And I will put a link up here and a link in the description box below if you want to see everything Halloween that I've ever stitched and finished. I think there's at least 30 items in there. I feel like there were closer to 50. But there's a lot. So I would highly recommend if you're looking for Halloween things to stitch. I've stitched a few. All right. So WIPGO this month is, I can't remember the numbers, but I've got the projects. This is one of them. This one actually is very conveniently called this month. This is Salem 1692 sampler by Witch's Garden Crafts. So this is getting 3 days, which is nice because it's Halloween month, and I want to stitch on it. I'm going to stitch on it anyway, but now it'll get WIPGO. Here's where I am. I don't have, I think I put that house in when it was called last. This is, you know, I do this every time I pull this out, and so we're not even going to talk about what fabric it is, but it's definitely different than what was called for. It's lighter. The called for is DMC, and so this is mostly DMC and then some fancy floss subbed here and there just because I had it. I like how faded it is and that it's not super punchy. So, and yeah, the other one I didn't pull because I forgot, is not Halloween themed at all, but this is Lindy Stitches A Stitch for Sweet Freedom. And if you want to bear with me for like 2 seconds, it is just in this box right here. And I think I can finish this month, which I'm excited about. So even though it's completely off theme for October, here's where I am. I'm also thinking I can finish this in less than 3 days, which would be nice. So I've got a lot done. So this is 36 count acid wash linen from Forbidden Fiber Co. stitched with DMC and fancy floss, mostly the called for. I need to finish the words, whatever's up here, and her head. And then she's done. It probably will take me 3 days, but it would be nice to have this finished. I really like it on this fabric. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. So those are my October WIPGO goals. Those two. And then my new starts that are planned are these two. So this is October by the Cricket Collection. And I'm going to, I realized when I pulled this out this morning that I have not pulled any of the floss for this, but I bought this partially kitted up at Shepherd's Bush when I was there last summer. I don't know what this fabric is. I'm going to have to go look it up, but this is whatever they had it stitched on in the shop. The called for is Butternut by R&R Reproductions. I don't think this is Butternut. I don't know what it is. I also got the Thread Gatherer's Silken Colors by Thread Gatherer. That is the color that the letters are stitched in. Because I figured there's so many, there's a ton of colors in this. I figured when I was there that I probably had some of them already, and otherwise I would figure it out when I got home. But I thought at the time that this was probably like, you know, the most bang for your buck floss. And then I also got the, take my word for it, this is a little tiny Ziploc bag full of buttons. I know they're hard to see. So I got those. So I'm going to start that this month. And then my other plan to start, excuse me, I dropped something on the floor, is this. This is Needle Heathen by Bendy Stitchy. And I have had this in my stash since she released it in 2022. I am definitely a needle heathen. What she says on the back of this is that for all my fellow stitchers who don't know and who may not care what size or type of needle you're using, this is the needle book for you. No need to sort your needles or keep track of them. Use what feels good. Keep all your needles in the same place and be proud of it. I have all my needles on, you can't see it and I'm probably not going to show you, but they're on I have a metal desk lamp that has covered in needle minders, that is covered in needles right in front of me. And I don't know if they're Bowen. I don't know if they're John James. I don't know if they're tall or short or 26 or 28 or 24. They're needles. I can put thread through an eye and sew with them. And that's the end of the game. Anyway, I am stitching this with the called for Threadworks. And I have a piece of Mystery Lugana. I don't know what color this is. I don't know where this came from. I know it's a piece that came from another project because I can tell that I cut it off of something, but I don't remember what it is. I hopefully have it written down somewhere, but those are the colors. And then I also bought the adorable little pins. Look how cute those are. She also just came out with a Needle Heathen Biscornu that is same colors, similar design. That honestly, these pins would be adorable stuck in that Biscornu. So I might need to stitch that as well. But we're gonna start with this, and then I might switch out that fabric, but I know it's the right number or the right count, and the colors will look nice. So, and it's already kitted up, so we'll see. She has it in the picture. It's on a much darker linen. It's on Tobacco from Zweigart, which is more of a darker browny gold color, but the colors will look just as nice on this. So those are my 2 planned October starts. That doesn't mean I won't start other things. I did get, oh, it's right here. I did just get this in the mail as well. I didn't count this as haul because it's been sitting here for a little while and I forgot to show it, but there's a couple things in here I'd really like to stitch. So I might start something out of that. And then I have some other random kitted up Halloween things all over the place that, you know, if the mood strikes, I might start. Yeah. So those are my plans. I am traveling for work this week. I'm leaving for the East Coast tomorrow night on an awful red-eye flight because honestly, there's no good way to get from the West Coast to East Coast and be able to make it to a work meeting on a Tuesday morning without taking a red-eye on Sunday night. Like, there's just not. So I should get some stitching done while I'm traveling, and then hotel room stitching is always good for me because after the meeting, I usually don't have, you know, there's nothing to do in a hotel room. Yeah, so travel stitching will be hopefully very fruitful. I've got some FFOs that I'd like to get done from and out of my pile of finished things that are just languishing. I've got all of my Halloween stitching out in the house, and so I think for next video I will go through and take some pictures or some video. There's a lot of it. It might be a little too much. Questionable. I do think there's some photos in the finish parade video that I published last year. So please go watch that if you're so inclined. I've also seen a couple other folks film Halloween finish parades recently. I know Lindy did one last year of all her finishes. I think Stitching Faye just did one. I feel like there was another one. But I love a themed finish parade. There should be more of them, especially if they're Halloween finish parades. All right, I think I'm just rambling now. So I will say goodbye. I hope you all are having a lovely October and getting lots of Halloween stitching done. And I will see you in a couple weeks. And happy stitching, folks. Bye.